Hey there, hi there, ho there, Fantasy League of Ordinary Gentlemen. Welcome in, and it is the end of the mid-season. Week 10 is over. If you can believe that we've actually gone through 10 weeks of fantasy football, this year feels like it is just flying by. Maybe I feel that way because I'm sitting at fourth in the league right now, and maybe it feels a bit longer for others who are on the lower end of the totem pole. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you find yourself, no matter where you're at, wondering where did the time go. At least that's what I feel like in all my leagues. It, of course, means that now we are on to the playoff push, but that is for tomorrow's episode. Today, we're going to focus on all of the huge consequences, ramifications, and outcomes that is week 10. So sit down, buckle up, find something to eat and drink, push out all the distractions. Remember, take a moment, like and subscribe. It really helps us out, and lots to go over. We have another owner who has now punched their ticket into the playoffs. We have two owners who are now officially eliminated from playoff contention. So, as I said, turn up the volume on your listening device. Let the sultry sounds of yours truly fill the airwaves, and we're going to start with our game one featuring Evan Coles and Jonathan Taylor. And Evan, brother, you can score 120 points. 120 points against me, okay? And in a week where, yes, you have some, not anything that, is crazy. Yes, you use an RB1, and Joku, probably about 10 points. But still, okay, you're still looking at probably like 100-ish points. Let's see, Josh Jacobs is averaging 14, so maybe you're looking at 95 points. Any of those scores beat Jonathan's score. But what do? You put up 50 points. It is the lowest score in the league. It is salt in my wounds, and it is a low point win to someone at the top. How lucky do you have to be, Jonathan? My God. Well, we're going to break it down. Again, you start Patrick Mahomes, and for once, I get last week he did score more than Baker, but Baker had a great day. So, both were good choices, but it hasn't been a good choice. And this week, it actually pans out, even though it wasn't a great day. It was only 16 points. Najee, 11. What a random picking up Ray Davis move. I think it's a good stash. I don't think you start him, but okay. Justin Jefferson really lets you down, especially just crashes down to earth. Sterling Shepard, unfortunately, does not have a repeat performance. And it's just nothing. It's nothing all around. Your highest scoring player was Patrick Mahomes. Even your defense goes negative, which actually gives Jonathan a 7-point swing. So not a lot to talk about here. The bench is on both sides filled with lots of bye. It was a heavy bye week across the leagues, of course. But yeah, nothing you would have done to play here that would have changed an outcome. I will say, man, you've got time. If you can make a trade before noon, I think you're going to need a little something extra if you're going to try and make a push for the playoffs here. But alas, at the end of the day, you end up going 4-6. So, there are teams that have been fighting, and we're going to talk about two of them, to get to 4-6, to keep their playoff hopes alive. So by no means does this mean you are, eliminated. It's not great, but you got the win against me. Oh, you bastard. Still venting about that. But Jonathan, I don't want to take away from you here, sir. It's not a great day yourself. We talk about it all the time. You love the low point win. Matthew Stafford crap. Your highest scoring player is Kareem Hunt, of all things. And what can I say? I don't want to say I'm wrong when Isaiah Pacheco comes back. We'll see how those couple weeks go. But, Breece Hall, your running back core wins you this game because the wide receiver core is not much better. But, it's just that much better. 9-9, Devonta Adams, Hopkins. I had to so much going on in this game where, these people put up 140 or 39 points, whatever, whatever, 85. It is what it is. Everybody has crazy weeks, right? Right. That's what you have to remember yourself, or at least is what I tell myself as I cry myself to sleep. What do we got here? Sanders kicker. I really actually have no idea who Carolina's. I'm not even going to try. Oh, wait, I can interact with it. Yeah, would not have guessed Jatavion Sanders. My God, Hingle McCringleberry over here. Tied in, 8 points, serviceable. Noah Brown, 6. The Giants defense, 4. Dicker the kicker, 9. Not a lot going on the benches. Again, not a lot going on in this match. It's a low point affair, but one that, you absolutely look out and winning, because surely Evan was going to score 100 points, but it doesn't happen. So you punch your ticket. As we said, we had a second owner. It is now Jonathan Andrews, who will enter into the playoffs guaranteed. That leaves 4 spots available, guys, in the playoffs left to fill. So, Evan, if you want one, you got to find a way to win in week 11, and Jonathan Andrews looking to cruise until the playoffs here after this week 10. Game 2 is going to feature Aaron Felch, who yet again gets outscored after scoring 128 points by Chandler Taylor, who scores 153, and it's mind-numbing, Aaron. It's mind-numbing. I mean, continuing to be the number 1 person with the most points scored against you, it doesn't seem to matter who it is. They're going to have their best day against you. Not that you had a choice here. Pittman, is out. You can't drop anybody. For those people who might be wondering, why would he play with someone who's out? Well, because there's no one worth picking up, and then you can't play anybody who's on your bench. So you take the hit. So technically, let's understand that with 8 people, you score 128 points. We talked about it in exact numbers. If you score 112 points, you should win your game. And with 8 people, you score 128 points and you still lose. Brother, my heart goes out to you. Chandler, not to take anything away from you, you and Forrest make a last-minute trade, and they score. I think it's hilarious that they actually score the exact same points. Funny, but you become quite dangerous. I think you have by far and away the best wide receiver core now. It's not even close, and it shows in your score. So, and for many other reasons as well. So let's go ahead. Let's start this breakdown as Jalen Hurts, on a day, Jalen Hurts scores 29 points, 4 total touchdowns. And you still lose. My goodness. Your running back core. I mean, love the production, hate the outcome. Joe Mixon, 17. Chuba Hubbard, 24. We talked about it. Mike Pittman, zeroed out. Goose egg. Not that you didn't know that, so it wasn't really. It was almost a very intentional, obviously an intentional sit here. Nothing you could do. Lad McConkey, not going to make a difference. 7, I mean, that's all you need. Hawkinson, been waiting on that production all year. Kyron Williams, not a great day. Not a great day, and not that even if he scored 20 points, it would have made a difference in this game. Just way to pick a defense. 15 points from Minnesota. Gay kicker. I mean, it's 128 points. You should win this game. I don't have to tell you. I'm preaching to the choir here. Chandler, again, not trying to take anything from you. Obviously, to Aaron's chagrin, you win this game. Brock Purdy, 2 touchdowns, 353 yards, 23 points. Bijan is on fire. Another 100-yard day, 2 touchdowns. DeAndre Swift crashing down to earth after being on fire. New England and Chicago, that game super low scoring. Again, I am going to rip into the two of you that started DJ Moore and Keenan Allen after I told you not to. I told you Caleb Williams is horrible. I love hearing everyone have to retract on Caleb Williams. I mean, it's like, do you watch the games, guys, or do you just listen to reporters and look at NIL deals? Okay, garbage player. Okay, where were we? So yeah, DeAndre Swift comes crashing back down to earth in the New England game. Scary Terry and Jamar Chase. I mean, it was over. It was over Thursday night when Jamar Chase, no T. Higgins, 11 receptions, 264, 3 touchdowns. Thank God I didn't have to play you. Thank God anybody didn't have to play you. You beat the whole league no matter who you play. Cade Otton, solid 8 points, 12 points from the trade with Debo. And now you've got long-term, longevity in the wide receiver game. Tennessee's defense zeroes out, and it actually started off like a pretty good day. Will Lutz also, that's insane. That's insane. 2 goose eggs. I actually didn't even notice that at first. Maybe I was like looking at the bench or some shit, but oh my goodness. Double zeros. Yeah, this is what happens when you work all day and then do multiple streams and podcasts. Okay, here we go. So anyway, but Jamar Chase saves it all. Jamar Chase is absolutely the difference. If Jamar Chase averages, by the way, with the 2 goose eggs, Aaron, you win this game, my man. Mind numbing. But let me point out, you're only 3-7. Pull a Brauc. You can't lose. It's win or be eliminated from the playoffs. Aaron, you're scoring 128 points. Surely it has to come, but not next week. And you know why. Chandler, you are a semifinal team. You done diddled yourself into. Yeah, you might be. With 150 points, I think you might be the only one of 2 people, and you've done it twice. You just have a very scary team right now. I mean, I'd be hard pressed not to say that you don't have a championship caliber team. I think with the trades you made, you've done diddled yourself into it, son, and you gotta find a win in. You're only at 5-5, so can you find a win in week 11 to get on the right side of 500? Game 3 had Josh Johnson losing to Heart of the Cards, Forrest Dozier, and unfortunately, Josh, that does mean you are one of the 2 owners who have been eliminated from playoff contention, now playing just for pride and the fun that comes from tackling opponents and creating chaos in the upper echelon of the table. Unfortunately, only 85 points in this game. A lot of points left on the bench, and not that all of those choices are bad. The one that I definitely would jump on you is Deontay Johnson and Austin Eckler, but now maybe I'm crazy. I thought Amari Cooper was going to play. It's been one interesting week, so maybe they had him stated as though he was not going to play well before the game. So you would have had to start Deontay anyway, but you would have brought Austin Eckler up, and that alone would have given you the win here. Unfortunately, the volume is going to come for Deontay Johnson, I think, all but a little too late. And they definitely say that for CMC as well. He scored 16 points on his debut. Jared Goff, 5 interceptions, gross 7 points in that game. Puka has a huge Monday night, almost cost me a loss in another league. And then, it's one of those, your defense and your kicker are your number 2 and top 5 with both of them, if you consider both, scoring players, which usually means it's a loss. It's 85.2. It's a close game. It's within literally 9.9 points. It's not a great day for us. The bye week hitting you as well. And, already you're playing with, lots of backups and, players that are filling in for injured players. I do like the last minute trade. And Josh, talk about people who've made last minute trades against you this year, I included. It's just crazy. But the pickup with Bo Nix, fantastic. And, Aaron Jones, 12 points here. David Montgomery, another 12. Not great. The wide receiving core really struggling. I thought Jalen Waddle will certainly have a better day, and he was thank God he was targeted, like lots of yardage and targeted early. He actually misses 3 passes, drops 3 passes, and goes 3 for 6 in this game. So could have had a much better day. But it's enough, man. It just adds together between Tank Dell and Waddle, 16. Travis Kelce saves your day, your highest scoring player. Without this, you lose. Your defense zeroes out. It's an 18-point swing for Josh. If he didn't have his own goose egg, he probably wins this game, surely. And like I said, you put Eckler in, you win the game. I said it in the chat, and I'm saying it now, dude. I want to take you out back and beat you with a dang, rubber fire hose, man. Because this is a win, Josh. You stay alive, and you put Forrest in the position you should be in. But again, Forrest, I don't want to take anything away from you. You've absolutely stormed back here through the midseason. It's 3 consecutive wins in a row. It's super impressive, man. Super, super impressive. So, keep it going. A win is a win. It's all that matters. You're literally there. I think the 6th seed is a 5-5. If that person loses, I don't know all the people that you've defeated or beat you. Obviously, it's more than your wins, but you've got wins. So you're 1 win, 2 wins, and you've gotten 3 in a row. So keep it going. And Josh, you got healthy, got some production coming. It's a little too late to help you in the playoffs, but a lot to play for in the best of the worst. Get a better pick for 2025 and get a win in Week 11. Game 4 will feature the second owner who would be eliminated from playoff contention, and I guess maybe I was a little too high. We talked about it that Josh had the ability to win his game, but Jack, I thought you might have one over the co-commish. He's dealing with some injury. Huge bye week. The trade with T. Higgins not working out right now, and he's struggling. 3 losses in a row. Aaron, thank God you got your wins in early. That's the thing about losing early. You can take those as long as you can win later on. And a huge win to get back to 500. Absolutely had to happen if you're going to make some kind of chance of staying here in the top 6. And Jack, as we said, unfortunately, sir, 66 points, not going to get you a win here in the Fantasy Gents. And 2-8 does mean you are eliminated from playoff contention, but lots to play for in the postseason. Get a better pick for 2025. Upset somebody here at the top. Lots to do and don't want to be forever unclean. So taking a look at this game and talk about Kirk Cousins, not only letting you down, but everyone down, me included. I play him in another league. Almost cost me a loss. I won that game by 4. You're going to lose this game by over 50. And it's just a bad day all around. And, nothing. Not a lot to talk about here. Etienne, Mostert, you live in the same town as Chandler, and you need to understand that he diddled you, and you should probably do something about that. Cortland Sutton, you know where he sleeps. Just saying. You know where he sleeps. Cortland Sutton, highest scoring player, 19 points. That's the only thing. I mean, you like to see it. Everything else is for naught. Zay Flowers, 7. Evan Ingram, hey, 10. You'll take it. DJ Moore. I mean, now, guys, I get that, there isn't a lot, on the bench. No DK Metcalf. But, go pick up someone on the waiver wire. Get a trade. You can't just keep running the same guys and living on a wing and a prayer. And you cannot start DJ Moore. You cannot start Keenan Allen. You cannot start Caleb Williams. You can only start DeAndre Swift. That is it. That is all you can do. Okay. And DeAndre Swift just got the volume, and he's the number one, and they're going to feed him, Baltimore, the defense goes negative, and McPherson 4. Brother, it's a bad day at the office, and unfortunately, like we said, eliminates you from the playoffs. And Aaron, it's a nice day. It's a rough day. The score is misleading a little bit. I will say, not that you do much of anything different based off your bench here, but yeah, man, 111 points. Joe Burrow accounting for a good chunk of it, 33 points, 4 touchdowns, 428 yards. So big day there against Baltimore. And then, man, without Godwin and without Mike Evans, Rachaad White, and Bucky Irving thrive, I really question, and we'll get to it when we talk about in Derek's game, but I thought it was quite foolish to start Bucky Irving. I guess we can just start both of them right now and everything's fine. Even against San Francisco, crazy. Alvin Kamara, 55 yards on the ground. A lot of it we talked about it, would come through the air, 15 yards. Garrett Wilson and Quentin Johnson crashing down to earth, both 10 and 9 respectively. Sam Laporta, though, love to see that. 3 for 66 and a touchdown, 15 points. Heck yeah. And then desperation Westbrook Akine start here. He gets 6 points. It actually edges out, which is all you needed to do, was edge out DJ Moore. You were able to not even have to worry about starting a defense. And Young Hoku, the kicker, you could have scored more, but you pulled a player, which of course makes you a fancy gentleman.
Look at this distinguished gentleman.
So congratulations, Mr. Grog, co-commissioner Grog, holding on to the playoffs. Aaron Grog, 5-5, and Jack, like we said, you and Josh are first owners eliminated from the playoffs, but caused chaos. Game 5 came down to Monday night, and this game was absolutely a delight to watch as Brauc Hudgens, who starts the year off 0-6, is making a Cinderella run with 4 wins in a row. He is right technically ahead of Forrest, even though Forrest has the 3 wins and was able to get a win before him. But Brauc has outscored Forrest in that time, and I do believe controls a tiebreaker in that matchup, at least right now, whether that be points or head-to-head. I am not 100% sure. However, it does not change that it is a huge win over a tough opponent, Jordan Payne, who now will fall to 4-6. It's 2 losses in a row. And Brauc, I mean, wow. I think even myself, I mean, I never leave anyone up for dead. And of course, I always talk about, this is why I talk about why you have always this chance of never give up, never surrender. Look what can happen. I related to you guys earlier in the season what can happen in, what did happen in my other leagues, what I've read about happening in other people's leagues, where just things don't go your way for 5 or 6 weeks, and then the whole season changes, and Brauc is living that life right now. I mean, this is just absolutely spectacular to watch, even though it comes much to the chagrin of Jordan. So let's break this down it's really an ugly win. And the game is much closer. I mean, I get it. Yes, it's 8 points we're talking about here. or excuse me, 7, 8 points that we're talking about here. But it's an ugly, ugly win. And like I said, let's just break it down here. Sam Darnold, 6 points, bad day, 3 interceptions. Devon Achane and Rico Dowdle combine for less than 20 points. So we're talking about 10 average each. And that's if you split them up, okay? Not a great day from Tyreek Hill. And what did we say? Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen gets 9. And you have, I'm looking at your bench, and you absolutely could have played somebody else. So, boo, Brauc, if only because you started Keenan Allen, you deserve to lose this game. But somehow you poop out a win here, and here's where it starts. This is where the difference in this game begins. Trey McBride, 4 for 71, 11 points. Jawan Jennings, 16 points. I don't know how you don't. You have Ricky Pearsall and Jawan Jennings. How do you not play them both? In this game, I mean, you based off your record, who your opponent is, why not? You have nothing to lose. You poop this win out. You poop this win out, Brauc. Just know that. Poopy poop. I'm going to say poop as many times as I can on YouTube. Anyway, 20 points from Philadelphia's defense goes off, saves. Oh, man, any one of these could be considering saving your day. 7 points, right? Bates, the kicker. How about that? Oh, my gosh. Last minute for the Lions, last minute for you. And like I said, we got points on the bench that I would have used in this game, me personally, given your record and the situation. But who am I to say anything? Brauc, it's a win, and that's all that matters. And you, I mean, every time I see your team right now, it's just Frankenstein's monster, and it is alive. I mean, I can't say it enough. You are alive. And this is why, I mean, talk about what we were talking about earlier, like falling to 4 and 6. Well, I mean, there are people who fought to get here. Forrest, Brauc are great examples. And it's like you're in it. You are in it. Live. Jordan, as well, you fall to 4 and 6, but you're not done. We can still absorb losses. We don't want to. We need to find wins. Not a lot going on your bench that I think you would do differently here, but it's not like the bench players are going to be much of a difference here. Nick Chubb's, I don't believe, going to change this game if he were playing. Guess obviously depends on the opponent, whatnot, and have you. Josh Allen, huge day, 18 points. You destroy Sam Darnold. But then Roschon Johnson, desperation RB play. Tyrone Tracy has a great day. Fumbles at the end to give the game away, and you think maybe, this game it becomes a 5-point game, maybe within 5 points. If that doesn't happen, you think the 2 interceptions, if he doesn't fumble, if Roschon doesn't go -4, Josh Allen doesn't throw two interceptions. If Tyrone Tracy doesn't fumble, you win this game. A.J. Brown, 15, Josh Downs, 14, there you go, 30 points. Dalton Kincaid, talk about not even look. I mean, there is some kind of disconnect right now between Josh Allen and Dalton Kincaid. I mean, this stack at the beginning of the year looked just dangerous, and now it's just a pussycat. I mean, you're questioning even if you're starting Dalton Kincaid, if you have a better matchup with another tight end, even I think in our league. Cooper Kupp looked great again, 7 for 80, 15 points, fantastic. Detroit's defense, who's going to be usable for several weeks right now, great. Boswell, 4 points, and thank God I picked up a different kicker because, not that it would have made a huge difference, but in another league, maybe it does, but 4 points. I mean, I'm still pissed. Don't get me wrong. Still not happy. Nevertheless, it's a loss. Unfortunately, Jordan, got to get a win. I feel it's very urgent. I'm sure you feel it more urgently than I to get a win in week 11 as we start the playoff push. And Brauc, again, alive, win again, man. Show people that I don't just sit here and talk to myself and spew nonsense, that someone can lose 6 games in a row and come back and get into the playoffs, and it's recorded for all time here in Fantasy Jets. Game 6 will have Mr. Consistency Derek Ashe falling in this high-scoring affair to yours truly. And Derek, I mean, we knew what was going to happen. We talked about it. We always have great games, and by great, I mean I beat you most of the time. And you like the production. It's 110. You fall. Yeah, okay, 1 point. We're not going to worry about 1 point here. However, you beat half the league, if you played them this week. And, you're getting good starts. I mean, Bucky Irving, bad week last week, much to my chagrin, has a great week this week, makes it, you were really close. This game was a little closer than the scoreline really, would tell you. It took until the mid-afternoon games, and then it was just off to the races, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But not anything you're really doing differently here in this game. Your quarterback woes definitely have changed. Justin Herbert, 19 points now, not a lot of yards here, 2 touchdowns, though. Derrick Henry and Bucky Irving combine for well over 30 points. And, Bucky Irving, I guess you can start them both. Last week we talked about it, wasn't great, but, Derrick Henry, not scoring 30 points is nice. The wide receiver core does a good job, 28 points between them two. Amon St. Brown, I knew, and I had to play against him in another league as well, and he almost came back on me. Malik Neighbors 10, and then you just taper off a lot. Ferguson 4, Odunze 5, and I don't think we're starting anyone from Chicago anymore unless it's DeAndre Swift here. 11 and 8 from the defense and the kicker. Like I said, production great, outcome not so great if you're you. I have a lot of people on bye, nobody that I'd really mess with this week. I almost did not start Mark Andrews. I know I picked up Goddard. It's good to see him score 10 points, but boy, howdy, did I have a lot of reservations. But, again, with no Isaiah Likely, and it really helps me out. Thursday night, I may have had this one as well. So let's talk about it. Kyler Murray has a great day, 28 points. I was so worried after what happened, but it's like, last week was just not, he just didn't need him. And, this week he goes off, and that's just fantastic. I really, really love that, obviously. But, just knowing it wasn't bad play or that things are out of whack in Arizona, okay? It was just game script. That's the reassuring thing here. And, again, all these things coming to fruition in the afternoon to just, give me the lead here. Jonathan Taylor, another 100-point day. Goodson, whatever, Vultures is his touchdown. Chase Brown, talked about it Thursday night. If you had almost anybody in Cincinnati and or the Baltimore game, you probably had a good chance of just outright winning your game Thursday night. But Chase Brown, 22 points. He did fumble. It was really worrying his fumbled, but storms back. MHJ, huge game. This is just, again, a little bit of a roller coaster, but I'm just hoping that this is the what we see, getting towards the end of the year where their schedule really, becomes a lot easier in Arizona. But 5 receptions, 54 for a touchdown. Not looking good with Brian Thomas with no Trevor Lawrence. Little scary. James Conner in the trade, with Javonte Williams completely working in my favor, by the way, Aaron Grog. And Kansas City the defense and Jake Moody, the kicker. And I will say the things, I was complaining about, losing Boswell, a kicker, because that's how tight fantasy gets. you talk about somebody dropped Charbonnet, and I'm pretty sure it was Jack. And I get, trying to find a win somewhere. I mean, you got to make a move, and that dude is going to do nothing for you, and he's on a bye. What does Jonathan do? Goes and gets the trade, or drops Gino, who he got in the trade with me, and then picks up his handcuff because the handcuff is 10 times more important, especially as we move towards the playoffs. And I wind up, because I had no quarterback, Dak goes out. I picked up Danny Dimes because the schedule's good. And I'm like, oh, well, he has a bye week the same week Kyler Murray does. So I can't do that. And Gino falls to me. So I get Gino back. And so I actually am saved somewhat. We'll talk about it in week 11. But just the the point of that story is to talk about the things that we do in fantasy because, necessity dictates that we do things crazy like that. So anyway, has nothing to do with my win here, as I absolutely trample Derek and your Taunton. Karma is a bitch, and you see what hubris gets you. And I don't believe any of that. I talk shit, on public recorded video. You didn't lose because you sent me a taunt. You lose because I am a better fantasy football player than you, Derek, and I keep you here for my entertainment so that, much like lesser mammals, you can dance like a performing monkey and I can talk you up and give you cool nicknames. But at the end of the day, when it comes down, it's wins for me. On a serious note, I was actually talking with Chandler about this, and it's like, I think that certain people have advantage over certain other people. Not only, obviously, you could have injuries or bye weeks or whatever. I just think certain draft strategies, and maybe that's what it is between you and me, Derek, and that is my draft strategy is just volatile to your draft strategy. And I guarantee you there are people in here whose draft strategies are volatile. I mean, maybe they look at Aaron, look at the Bourbon Bowl. I mean, maybe Aaron's draft strategy is just volatile to my draft strategy or what have you. So, Derek, you're a quality player. You're a scholar and a gentleman. I love having you here, and I love winning against you, bud. So, knowing that we don't have to play each other until, I'm sure, the playoffs, and it's sure good to take your position and have that tiebreaker, which that is the important thing this week and the weeks coming, is where are you getting your tiebreakers, and this was an important one, and we may just be playing against each other here in a 4-5 matchup. I really, really, really hope that is not the case, but I wish you luck, sir, moving on into the playoff push. Our game of the week features Brennan Scala, who continues to win. He also is the most healthy team in the league. Look it up. And don't tell me that dealing with CeeDee Lamb's little injury and Zach Moss, who's lost his job, was losing his job well before now and going on IR, was ever an issue. I'm not going to take it away from you. 10 wins in a row. Unfortunately, Austin, it's a low-scoring week. 82 points. It's 3 losses in a row. The defending champion that once was dominating, number one in the league, has fallen now to the 3rd seed. Can you right the wrong? I mean, it's almost like the exact opposite of Brauc. I mean, but like I said, look how interesting that is. I mean, someone who's at the very top has now lost 3 in a row, and someone at the very bottom has won 4 in a row. Forrest has won 3 in a row. I mean, do you not love fantasy football or what? My goodness, at least, do we not just love fantasy? Gents, don't you love me? Let's be honest, that's what we're all here for, all right? It's just this big, beautiful ginger man in front of you. I digress. Let us focus back in on Brennan and Austin's matchup where, dude, just things happening on the bench. Look at the points for Brennan on the bench, and it's like, Aaron Felch would love Calvin Ridley's 25 points. And how is that nonsense that he trades him away at the beginning of November? A week later, he's traded from Jordan to you, Brennan. And here he is, sitting on a bench, scoring 25 points. It ain't right. It ain't right. Let's talk about the points that matter. And that's Lamar Jackson, 290 yards, 4 touchdowns. Holy moly. Huge day. Like I said, people, users, owners who had players. There we go. That sounds a little more sophisticated, doesn't it? Won their game Thursday night, man. I mean, what a crazy, crazy game. Crazy points. James Cook, Ramondre Stevens comes back down to earth, but still, between the two of them, score over 20 points. CeeDee Lamb and Drake London. And, dude, I want to say, first of all, the memes and GIFs about the Cowboys and the sun in the stadium, hilarious. Number 2, what kind of a moron doesn't point out to Jerry or the, foreman or an architect or somebody that the freaking stadium is on an east-west axis? Okay, there's number 2. Stupid. And then curtains, shutters, put a big old poster of Dak out there. I mean, something. Come on, guys. I mean, Dak, I mean, if you look at even the camera angle, I mean, it's horror. You can't see diddly. It's disgusting. Drake London, huge game, 17 points. Taysom Hill, not the 18 points that you got last week. George Pickens is a wide receiver 1. It's not even close. 5 receptions, 91 yards, and a touchdown. Where was this in Denver, Russell Wilson? Man, where? Why? What's the problem? Okay. San Francisco's defense, 5, and Aubrey, the kicker, 7, 122 points. And it's just not enough. Austin, 82. It's a complete blowout, 40 points. And Jaden Daniels crashing to earth. We said taper expectation with that Pittsburgh defense, only 200 yards. Saquon Barkley, another, low-scoring affair, 8 points here. Jareem Gibbs, only 12. It just didn't seem like any of the people, just the people that were on fire maybe have slowed down a bit. And then, got people like Bijan and Jonathan Taylor who are really coming on now. So, tough matchups here with Houston. Dallas, not so much, but, rivalry game. And they were just, Jalen Hurts was killing it, in that game. That was always the worry, with Saquon Barkley, is how much running would Jalen Hurts take away from Saquon Barkley. Devonta Smith, as everything goes to A.J. Brown, and is a little banged up here. Only 2 receptions for 14 yards. Darnell Mooney, 14 points, 5 for 96, so great there. George Kittle's, at least he got into the end zone, only 3 receptions on this game, but still gets into double digits. Javonte Williams, and I still wonder, Aaron, if I shouldn't have made that trade. I mean, you just keep saying that, and I just don't believe it, and the math isn't there. But anytime you want to put the numbers on paper and try and point it out to me, I'm more than willing to listen. Chicago's defense and Tyler Bass, the kicker, not a lot on the bench here that you would have done different or that you could blame yourself for. So at the end of the day, I love to see it. And at this point in time, I just need someone to beat Brennan one time, just one time, so that he can not claim to be the first ever to be undefeated. We've got 4 games left to go. So there are 4 people that need to hand this man a win. I can show you mathematically that somebody is supposed to do it. So for the love of Pete, someone knock this off his horse, and then you can win. Brennan, if you will just lose one game, and that way you can't be undefeated by the end of the year, and you could win every other game. Because at this point in time, you losing, unless you actually win, I think even if you lost 4 games in a row, the chances of you being the number one seed are pretty good, even at 10-4. So if you would just lose one game, then you could win the rest and be the number one seed and let us all fight out for everything below you, because that's who we need. We're getting to the point where you need to win, and it's everybody else somewhere around everybody else below you. You need to lose. So, Austin, we love to see it because you're 7-3, which means you're only one win from me and Derek, who are sitting at 4-5. Of course, we talked about, and at this point in time, I'm just getting ahead of myself. So let's go ahead and throw up the standings for this Week 10 recap. And like I said, there it is. So we now know what I'm talking about. Brennan sitting alone, 10-0. Talked about Jonathan Andrews. He's in, but only 2. You're holding on to that number 2 seed by only 2 wins. And the 3rd seed is in play big time now. At 7-3, the 2-6-4 is myself and Derek Ash, which would be a rematch if it were to end tomorrow. Big wins. We talked about getting to 5-5, and I guarantee you these are going to be 7-7. That's how you know it. The experience, the tendencies. These are going to be 7-7 teams. If you want a 6 seed, you need 7 wins. So 5-5. Aaron Grog, Chandler Taylor, right behind him on the outside looking in. 1, 2, 3, 4 teams completely tied at 4-6, and that is Jordan Payne, Brauc Hudgens, Evan Coles, and Forrest Dozier. Our lone 3-7. You can't lose. Win or be eliminated from the playoffs contention. Aaron Felch, and then our 2 owners who exist to create chaos, Jack Little Raven and Joshua Johnson, eliminated from playoff contention, but not fucking yours up. So there we go, guys. I hope you enjoy it. See you tomorrow for a Week 11 starting the playoff push. We get our playoff seeding. It's going to be so much fun, so much to look forward to. Take care. Peace out.